Good morning. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Perseverance Maremeni, also known as Madam Speaker, also known as the CEO of Self Love. So this is very random. I had said in the very beginning of the year when I opened this channel that I'm such a big fan of random lives. It's just that I had not gathered, enough tools to do it as random as possible on this app. But from here going forward, the plan is just to keep going. What a journey. Yeah. So today I've not been feeling so well, and I've decided that I should go see my doctor. So I'm going to be doing that a bit later today. But now, as I'm sitting here, I am just so overwhelmed, with emotions. And I thought, let me just share this as raw as it is, because I am that much of a realist. I've just been looking at, I had a beautiful dream. My goodness. I had a beautiful dream where I don't even know how to explain it, but it was beautiful. I was in a place where there's peace and stillness and just waterfalls and beautiful, beautiful, beautiful spaces, you know. And I woke up smiling because of that. And I sat and I reflected on my journey. Because if I remember very well, this time last year, I was hardly breathing. Because it was just before, I think I had known about the court date for my divorce to be granted. I didn't know what the future had in store for me. I didn't know what God had in store for me. But I knew that place where I was, I needed to get out of there. And so much has happened. Because I'm one person who lives by her name, Perseverance, who works hard, for everything. Literally, I have to fight. I think I did even a video last year where I was saying that some of us are natural born fighters. We have to fight for everything. We literally have to put in more work to get what we want as compared to other people who never have to put in any work, who just have things effortless for them. The game plan last year, November, October actually, this time of the year, when I was busy wrapping up my stuff so that I can wait for my court appearance to finally wrap up the divorce, I had drawn a plan to say, I'm going to have myself a 3-year plan where in these 3 years, I'm going to pick myself up. I'm going to start from scratch. And I'm going to rebuild the walls of my life, which have crumbled down to the ground. I really, really, really believed that I was going to have to fight twice as much or thrice as much for me to get to where I was before the divorce. But I didn't know what God had in store for me. And it's amazing. It's just that because the parts of my life that I choose to share with the public as a content creator is about the reality of life in marriages, in relationships, and in divorce. There are so many other areas of my life which maybe in due course I will be able to share. But at this present moment, because the only part of my life that I decided to share is about my journey through relationships, marriage, and divorce. The reality is that it's been tough. It's been tough. I don't think it actually sunk in yet. I realized how deep and how severe this thing was until I had to step out of it and and look at it from a third person's point of view. Because it's only now that when I look at videos of me leaving my house, video of me selling my house, me packing up my things in a truck, it's only now that when I look at that, it hurts, but not from a point where I feel like it hurts me because it is me, but it hurts me because I can't imagine anybody going through that and still be able to live and to survive all that. So it becomes very difficult for me when people ask me, how did you survive? How did you do it? Because I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how I survived. But one thing I know is that God carried me because He had a plan. He had a plan. And the plan was that through my story and my being bold enough to share it, my being able to silence the naysayers, I should carry other women. Um, when I had the women's conference, when I had the women's conference, that's where the reality of my life actually kicked. To say, I'm actually not called for my own healing alone. I believe that what I chose to do with my story, which is sharing it openly and publicly, I thought I was doing it for myself, for my own healing, because I didn't want to suppress anything anymore, because I knew that suppressing stuff was a recipe for doom. But I needed to share my story because I felt that an open wound heals quicker than a closed wound. So that is the reason why I decided to share. It was some sort of like a home remedy for me to heal. Good morning. So it was my own remedy to heal. But little did I know that this remedy is actually going to heal the masses. It's not only going to be myself who walks out of this alive and being able to tell the tale, but I'm taking so many women out of this ditch with me. And when that reality kicked, I was blown away. I was blown away. When I did the women's conference and I saw so many women gathered and so many women giving testimonies about what my story has done for them, the hope that it gave them. It really made me look at life in a different light. I never really understood why God kept carrying me. Because honestly speaking, I didn't have strength in me. And I've always believed that for you to keep having strength, for you to not fall, you literally have to be on your knees all the time. I was tired. I don't want to lie. I don't want to lie to anybody and tell you that I was on my knees the whole time praying, because I wasn't. I wasn't on my knees, guys. I was tired. I was on my knees before, but through this process, I just said, Lord, I don't have strength in me. And I don't have words to tell you. So I don't know what you're going to do with this information, but this is me. God has turned my life around. There are so many things which are happening in my life right now which I can't share. But in the beginning, I was determined to work for a good 3 years for me to get back everything that I've lost. But God, as I was lifting my tools and I wanted to start working to get back everything that I've lost, God showed me that I don't have to do that. Because I've been used to suffering so much. You know, when you are used to suffering, when you are used to working so hard to get everything, you literally, it feels like a scam when you get something and you have not worked hard for it. So you're always hardworking. You're always ready with the tools. You know that before you get something, you have to cry for it. As a middle child, I'm sure some of you, if you are a middle child, you'll relate that maybe the firstborn gets things easy and the lastborn, because it's the baby, gets things easy. But when I, as the middle child, you have to fight, you have to cry, you have to kick for you to get the same thing that other kids are getting. I got used to that system in every area of my life. Yeah, I got used to it because everything that I ever accomplished, I fought. And even after I lost everything, because I knew that this was the reality of my life, I was ready to fight again. I had picked my tools and I said, yeah, our luta continue. Let the struggle continue. But this time around, it didn't turn out like that. It wasn't like that at all. I didn't have to fight anymore. I shared a small clip about how I had a 3-year plan on me clearing my name, getting myself out of debt, and rebuilding my life. But if I can tell you now, I'm not owing anybody anything. I have gotten myself out of all the debt that I had accumulated. Bye, baby. I love you too. All the debt that I had accumulated, I thought it was going to take me 3 years to get rid of. I thought it was going to take me more years to rebuild my life, to get everything that I lost. But it didn't. God has just been opening doors wide, and now I'm back at that point where I feel like, do I even deserve this? And somebody said to me the other day, there are so many women who are praying for you. And the things which you are seeing in your life right now are not blessings that came after you prayed so hard, but you are still getting the blessings of the women who pray for you, you know, because they are drinking from your cup for their own healing and the works. So their prayers, there's so many women who are praying for you, and because of their prayers, you will never lack, you will never suffer. You have not even tapped into your own blessings, your own personal blessings yet. And I'm seeing that. I'm seeing that. I'm seeing. Every time when I get up and I say I want to work to get something, I want to work towards something, God is just saying to me, don't worry about this. I've already covered this. When I lift my hands and I say, I want to do this now, I'm ready to start doing this. And the Lord says, no, you don't have to. This is already covered. This is the life that I'm living now. This is the life that I'm living now. The scariest part about this life is just the knowledge of the amount of women which are looking up to me or are feeding from my content. That's the scary part, because I've never been one person who lives to impress people. I've always been upfront, transparent, and authentic in the way that I do my things. I've never really lived to impress anyone. I get a lot of comments where people would say, how come we never knew about you before your divorce? How come we never, you never made this much noise? If you knew me before, you will know that I've always been a vocal person. I've always been a bubbly person. I've always been a person who speaks my mind. I've always been an honest person. It's just that the things or the topics which I was speaking about were not popular topics, so nobody was listening, you know. It's only after I started speaking on a taboo topic that now people started wanting to listen in and call me names. But for what it's worth, whatever name that you would want to call me now, I think I deserved it from a very long time ago because I've always been like this. The reality of my life is that I have rested on the bosom of Christ. So many times I've had people asking me, even you know how it is when your life now starts coming together, people now want to come back, even those that were against you, those that don't even think you know that they were against you. They had so much to say about you. They think because they didn't say directly to you, they think you don't know. So even when they come back to you, they come back and they pretend as if nothing happened. So I'm having that. I'm having people coming back asking me about how I feel because my life is coming together and the other guy on the other hand, his life is just a mess. And I always say that I don't take much joy in seeing him as a mess, but I can't help him, you know. And when I see, these are parts of my life that I usually don't talk about because I still communicate with my ex-husband almost on a daily for the kids. And I can tell you now that the Egypt which I left is still Egypt even now. I'm still getting text messages of accounts being handed over, you know, of things which are not paid. I'm still getting things like DSTV being switched off, you know, because that's the life that I used to live when I was still married, where I would do my part, but he would not do his part, and I would get these SMSs. But now, every time when I get these SMSs, I thank God. I thank God to say, Lord, I thank you because this is now not affecting me directly anymore. I thank you because I'm not part of this equation anymore. I thank you because it's not my problem anymore. If the DSTV is off, I just send a screenshot. It doesn't bother me. It's not under my skin anymore. And for what it's worth, it makes me thank God that I left this Egypt because it's a daily reminder that that Egypt which you left is still Egypt even today. It is still Egypt even today. You know, obviously we hope and wish for the best, but I thank God. I thank God for the grace. And with a lot of things that are always said about me, I realized that I don't have to respond anymore. I really, really do serve an amazing God. I thank God for giving me the grace to just trust the process. um, I'm not big on anniversaries or remembering dates, you know, in a sense, on this date, this is what happened. The following year, on this day is anniversary for this, anniversary for that. Like even when I lose a loved one, I choose not to remember their death and everything. But I still remember very well that I was wearing a white jumpsuit and I was saying happy birthday to the new me when I came out of the magistrate court, the divorce court, and I was a free woman. That's why this is such an emotional thing for me, because I remember where I was this time of the year last year. I was I was tense. I was tense. But after I was done with everything, I started relaxing, I started getting my life together, and I started receiving the blessings in abundance. There's something big which happened in my life. This is the biggest thing that has happened thus far. You are obviously going to know about it right here on this channel. But yeah, you will probably know it in a few months, maybe in a month or two. But I need you to understand that there's a purpose. There is a reason why God allowed me or gave me the grace to speak through everything from the beginning until the end. With so many people, I always say that I'm one person that a lot of people are looking at. Some are looking at me as a good example, some are looking at me as a bad example. And those who are looking at me as a good example, or as a good example, let me just put it that way, they are always hoping for the best to come out of me so that they can always say, you see, she chose herself and she's doing well for herself. But in the same breath, there are so many people who are hoping that I fall down, hoping that I fail, so that they can use me as that example to say, you see, we told you don't be like her. We told you don't do what she's doing. See how now she's suffering. See how now she has failed. But between the two, what actually stands out is what God is saying and what God is doing in all of this. And all the things which God has been doing in my life is just a confirmation to say, my child, you're on the right track. Keep going. Speak so that my people can be liberated. Speak so that those who have an ear will hear, and those who do not want to listen, they don't have to listen. I've reached a point where I don't have to respond to negative comments anymore, because those who are for me already know that I don't have to defend myself anymore. I've reached a point where all I have to do is live through everything and let God demonstrate that which He wants to demonstrate in my life. Life has humbled me. The other day I was crying because ever since the divorce process started, I didn't have anything. I didn't have a car. I'm talking about, I'm not rich, I'm not wealthy, but I have been okay. I've been able to live and afford my life. When I got married, I had a car. When I got married, I never came in my marriage struggling. But when I left my marriage, I had nothing. When I left my marriage, I didn't even have a car. My dad borrowed me his car. I was using my dad's car for a good year and a half. And it used to give me a lot of problems. One of the problems that that car gave me was that the wipers were not working. Guys, this story humbles me. It really says God is not from your village, and God will do whatever that He wants to do. He doesn't consult with human beings before He does what He wants to do. No matter how painful it is, He's going to do what He wants to do, not what we feel like we deserve or what we feel like is right. That car didn't have wipers, guys. I've never really driven a car that has problems. I've never driven a car that needs me to know parts of the car. I've never struggled that much. No. But I was driving my father's car that he borrowed me that didn't have wipers. I had to learn things about cars that I didn't even know existed. I didn't even know that you needed to apply a potato, guys. A potato. Like literally, you cut a potato in half and you apply it on the windscreen of a car so that the water slides off when you're driving in the rain. And I've been driving. I had places to go almost every weekend. I've been mobile with that car. I've had this car stuck on me so many times. I've I've known parts of cars. That humble pie that I had to eat, it took marriage. It took a failure of a marriage for me to eat that humble pie. And when I eventually bought my car, after I had settled all of my debt and I cleared my name with the ITC and everything, which is something which took 3 months instead of the 3 years that I thought was going to take. Because I honestly thought that it's going to take me 3 years to clear my name and to get my life back on track. But it took me 3 months. It's grace. It's grace. So the first time after I bought my car and I saw that it was raining outside, I jumped out of bed because I was worried, that story now is going to start. Now I need to find a potato to apply on the windscreen, guys. You don't know struggles if you've never applied a potato on the windscreen of a car because the water must slide off because the wipers of your car are not working. Not because you need to buy new wipers, because the motors of the cars are not working. The motors of the motors of the machines of the wipers are not working. All these tricks that I've been learning, all these struggling tips that I've been learning, I'm like, Lord, I could have started with these tricks, I could have started with the struggle. I could have started from the bottom and learned these life lessons that humble me as a human being until I get to a point where I don't have to struggle anymore. But for me, it was the other way around. I never struggled in the beginning. It took proper Egypt, proper Egypt for me to face God like this. Like, there's nobody in the room, it's just me and God. There's nobody. I literally had to park the car sometimes on the side of the road. I've had my fair share of humble pie in a period of a year. And one thing I can tell you about when it's your turn to eat your humble pie is that nobody's coming to eat your humble pie with you or for you on your behalf. When it's your turn to eat your humble pie, you will eat it. It's entirely up to you how you want to take it. You want to take it cold, warm. You want to take it with a little bit of water. But when it's your turn to eat your humble pie, you will eat it. When it is your turn for you to see God, you will see God. The one thing that I feel like it was necessary, but it was so painful when it happened in the beginning that I felt like, Lord, take this cup away from me. But it is only now that I thank God that it happened the way it did. When I was struggling, people took steps back. And I only had a few people. I had some people who only came back into my life because I was struggling and they understood how severe the struggle is. So they chose to come back into my life for that purpose only, to say, I know how bad this is and I can relate. So I don't want you to go through this alone. So I'm here for that. I had a conversation with a friend of mine yesterday, who is one of the people who came back in full force in my life because of the struggles that I was facing. And she said, I know that our friendship is one of those friendships which are we speak once a year and everything, but I understand this that you're going through now, and I know that you will need someone, and a lot of people are going to turn against you because I know it from experience. So I'm choosing to be here when everybody runs away because it's too much. And when I was having a conversation with her, sharing with her about something big that happened in my life, like a big deal that I just signed, like proper big. This is the biggest. This is the biggest I've ever signed. She said to me, friend, I hope you don't forget us. I'm like, you don't have to tell me twice. The friends that I have now are the friends. There are people who are in my life right now who earn their place on their dining table. This is very, very important for every single one of us to say. Identify people who are deserving to be on your table that you should be dining with. And the best way, or one of the best ways for you to know who is deserving of being around your dining table and dining with you when things are good is when you go through stuff. The moment you hit rock bottom, the moment your life turns upside down, the moment your table turns upside down, some people are going to fall off. Some people will realize that they don't have to hold on to this table because it's not benefiting them. They don't have to struggle. They don't have to suffer like that. They didn't sign a contract that they have to suffer with you. When your table is turned upside down, people are going to fall off. People are going to let go. People are going to say, no, it's not me. It's not for me. No, I don't have to. Why should I struggle? But the people who hold on to your table when it's upside down, when it's now sitting up straight, those are the people that you should keep on your table. Those are the people that you should always remember. Anybody else who comes to your table after it has now set well and there's food on it, anybody else who comes to your table should be coming there to serve you, should be coming there to ask you, how is your meal? Should be coming there to say, are you enjoying your food? Is there anything else that I can get for you? There should be not more people coming on your table because now they see that the table has been set and there's nice things, there are buffets on your table. Now they want to come back in. Remember the people who were on your table when your table was upside down and there was not much happening on your table. Remember the people who held onto your table when it was shaking. That's the selection criteria for people who are deserving to be in the inner circle of your life, the holy of holies of your life. And the sad part is that we place people on the tables of our lives before we hit rock bottom, before we struggle in life. And when we do that, we never really know who is there for us for real or who is there for us simply because they're benefiting something by being on your table. You see, when you hit rock bottom in your life so much that nobody has to be there. You know, when you reach that point in your life where you can even tell people who are around you to say, you can also leave if you want. You can also join the masses. I reached a point in my life where all I could ask myself is, who is next to leave? Who is next? Who is next? I reached a point where I felt like, listen, everybody's just leaving. Who is next? And I prepared myself so much that I said it was okay. The door is wide open. Anybody who wants to walk out can do it now. Do it now. Do it all at once. Let everybody who wants to walk out get up and walk now. But there are people who decided to hold on and not let go and say, I don't have to be here. This is too much. I don't have to stick around. This is too much. I'm not obliged to stick around, but I'm choosing to stick around. I'm choosing to be here for you. Those are your people. I know that we have this thing in our head. We have expectations, and we think that there are certain people who will stick with us until life happens to you and you realize that there are people you thought would stick around, but they're not there. And you can't do anything about them not being there because they don't have to suffer if they don't want to suffer. And when I look at the people, when I had nothing, and the people who chose to stick with me even when I had nothing, when I was literally depending on them to carry me, when I had to call them for a good hour just to cough out what was in my chest. Those are your people. I know that a lot of us, when we get blessed, when we start doing well for ourselves, we forget these people. We forget them. but those are your people. Yeah. So life has been hard. The reality of my life only humbled me afterwards. And now I come across as a very bitter person when I don't give a damn about a lot of people. They now say that divorce has changed me. No, the transition changed me. The transition, me being able to see who is there for me and who is not, that's what changed me. I always say that if I drop this cup now and it breaks, if I pick it up now and put the pieces together, it's still gonna be a cup. It's still gonna do the job, but the shape, you can tell that this cup was broken. And now the mistake that a lot of people make is that they expect you as a cup, which was once broken, to come back and be together like this as if nothing ever happened to you. It's not possible. Don't even try it. You're not going to get it right. This is the new reformed you. This is the new reshaped you. Everything that you went through, everything that you are going through shapes you into a new form. But people want, for their own comfort, for their own personal benefit, for their own satisfaction, they want you to go back to the naive you, to the stupid you, to the you that people can use, to the you that people can take advantage of. But after you have broken this cup and you put it together, congratulations that you managed to put it together. But it's still going to have cracks. It's not going to be the same form, the same shape anymore. We can cover it in gold and make it look nice and make it look nice. But at the end of the day, this cup was once broken. And if a broken cup has to come back to life and be used again, and it must now be called names, it must now be called bitter because it took its new form, it took its new shape, it's okay. I don't mind being called a bitter cup, because I was once a broken cup and I put so much effort for me to become a useful cup, a cup that still can carry me for years. It's okay. It's okay. So that's all I have to say today. To say that it's been a tough journey, I'm not going to lie. And today was just a day where I was having flashbacks and triggers of how tough things were, and looking at the blessings which I just received now. I thank God for giving me the grace to not give up on myself. And I would like to say to anybody out there, if you have it in you to fight, don't give up. Be very much interested in what God has in store for you on the other side. Because you can give up if you want. You can throw in the towel if you want. That's how much dominion God has given you. You can do anything that you want to do whenever you want to do it. But you are more likely to thank yourself if you do not give up on yourself. It's tough. There's no VIP in this life. We all have our fair share of struggles, of troubles, of pain. But it's entirely up to you whether you want to give up or you want to keep going. If you choose to keep going, congratulations. If you choose to give up, rest in peace to you. But at the end of the day, I can talk from morning to night, but it all depends on you and what you are willing to do for yourself. I love you so much. Thank you so much for the love and support that you guys are showing me on this channel. I'm failing you, but you've been great. You've been patient with me, and you continue supporting me and giving me positive criticism and a pat on the shoulder when you feel like I'm doing well, I'm on the right track. I appreciate all of that. And also, we are still having our Loving Yourself Back to Life camp from the 9th to the 11th of December 2022 at Hartbeespoort Sport Dam. I believe that God is at work and He's still going to continue doing his work. Thank you so much. God bless you all. God bless you.